So let me tell you why I'm super excited about this particular trailer is because I have been a big fan of Taika Waititi, especially with what he's been doing in theaters. I think his movies have been really fun, and I'm really looking forward to Thor: Love and Thunder. But let's just get into the trailer, shall we? Here we go, Thor: Love and Thunder. By the way, I will be narrating some of this for audio listeners so you kind of know what's happening. And this trailer is going to start out with what looks like a young Thor running through a field with trees in the background. And sure enough, he turns into old school costume looking Thor, also running through. He looks like he's maybe in his teens or something like that. And he has the old school Thor costume, which is pretty fun. And then he turns into more modern looking Thor with a new, more modern looking costume as he runs through this field.
His hands were once used for battle. Now they're but humble tools for peace.
All right, so now he's talking about, he used to use tools for battle, but now he's using those humble tools for peace. So maybe he has had a change of mind about what he's supposed to do in his life. I should note that this is coming after the Thor that we saw in Endgame, which was a fairly broken Thor. Now, it is my favorite Thor. When I say he's a broken Thor, what I mean is he's lost some of his, he had this bravado about him. He had this arrogance about him, and he lost some of that. He was more of an anxious and depressed Thor, which I thought was actually really good for his character because it felt more real than the frat boy he was before, right?
To figure out exactly who I
am. Now, this is interesting because we have this song, Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses, is a super, what word do I want to use? James Gunn feeling song, right? And it'll be interesting to see how this plays out in the trailer. So we can see that he's been working out here again. He's still a heavier version of Thor here, but he's in the process of working out. He's using chains to do that. There's some kind of, it looks like a King Kong kind of monster that's just the skeleton of King Kong that was all chained up. So maybe he has to defeat that character early on in the show.
I want to choose my own path.
And then here we have Thor, who's slimmed down again. He's back to being buff Thor. And you can see teenage Groot in the background here. And it looks like he's with he's on some other planet that they're seemingly helping to rescue. And we also saw Quill a second ago. So Peter Quill, oh, he's here on the screen too. He's behind the rock. So he's with the Guardians of the Galaxy, which is where he was at the end of Endgame, right? He was part of that whole crew for a while there. So that's interesting. And now he's back in his Thor armor and he has Stormbreaker. Still on the same planet, but it looks like the Guardians of the Galaxy are actually leaving the planet and maybe leaving him behind, but it's hard to say because it's hard to tell when these two scenes were cut together. So that may be misleading us entirely.
My superheroing days are over.
And he says, my superheroing days are over. And then he's with Korg. Just seemingly, they want us to believe that he's watching the Guardians of the Galaxy leave, which may be true. He does not have his cool armor on anymore, though. He's just wearing the t-shirt he was wearing a couple seconds ago in this scene. And then Korg is there, and Korg has like a full-on new belt and new pants. So that's kind of interesting. But of course, Taika Waititi plays Korg. So there you go. Taika Waititi's in the movie alongside Thor. And now here's a shot where he looks like he's like a pirate of some kind. He's in this ship being pulled by some animals, and the animals are able to fly. So it's almost like he's, Santa Claus that's flying his sled, but it's a big ship. And then it looks like he's trying to be a pirate. And then it says, not every god. Now there he is again with his armor and his Stormbreaker, which makes me think that we're seeing lots of different times in this movie. Clearly he's talking about not being a superhero or not wanting to superheroing anymore. So that's, is that early on in the movie? Then he adjusts, or is that later on in the movie? I don't know. But that looks like it was like there's this big arena and someone catches a thunderbolt. And like, I don't know if this is supposed to be Zeus or so maybe this is a flashback to his younger days or something. Maybe he's in with a different group of gods potentially. Um, it doesn't seem like this is Odin per se, but maybe it is Odin. I'm not sure. Not every god has a plan, I think is what it says. Giant shot of Korg and Thor in front of this ginormous creature on another planet. But it looks like that creature is no longer with us. It looks like it's dead. I don't know. And Peter Quill says, "Remember what I told you." And then there's a little shot of New Asgard, and there's a bunch of cruise ships in the background. And then there's a thing over here on the right side of the screen that says New Asgard Tours. And so what it seems like is happening is that New Asgard has become a tourist destination, which is a really interesting consequence of that being made known to humans.
You ever feel lost?
And then you hear Peter Quill saying, "If you ever feel lost,
Just look into the eyes.
just look into the eyes of the people that you love." And then we see another shot here where, again, it looks like I don't know, it looks like I'm kind of wondering if this is the Roman gods or the Greek gods, because there's a Zeus-like character here, which maybe is Odin, but I doubt it. I'm not sure if I know which god would have lightning bolts like that. So we'll see.
People that you
And so, yeah, Peter Quill saying, just if you ever get lost, just look in the eyes of the people that you love. And he's looking, and Peter Quill's looking at the Guardians of the Galaxy. And then, and then Thor sticks his face in front of Peter Quill, which is hilarious and is categorically Taika Waititi. That is just the epitome of what he's up to.
not me.
And then Peter Quill says, "Not me," and that's really funny. I don't know if you guys have seen Our Flag Means Death, but I won't spoil it. But if you haven't seen Our Flag Means Death, it's a Taika Waititi show. He's involved in that show, and he's actually an actor in that show. And this has some of those same vibes right here in this scene.
What? Just listening.
And then we get the giant logo, which is a very 80s style logo, which goes really well with this soundtrack. And then this is really interesting. Mjolnir flies through the air, a hand grabs it, and then what do we see? Thor is like shocked. This looks like there's people battling behind Thor. I can't really see who that is or what they're doing, but this hand grabs it, and then we come down, and it looks like it is the Jane Foster Thor. Now I can't tell if that's Natalie Portman, because I do believe she's supposed to be playing the female version of Thor. I can't remember the character's name from the comics, but if you know it, let me know. But whoever's playing this, if it is Natalie Portman, then she bulked up. Oh my gosh, she's like super buff. If it's not Natalie Portman, then I don't really know who it is. I don't know who it's supposed to be, because I thought she was maybe coming back to play that role. But if you know otherwise, then leave me a comment. And this is coming in July of 2022. And interestingly enough, this film is not yet rated. I don't see this film getting anything but a PG-13 rating, though. So there you go. Thor: Love and Thunder, coming to theaters in July. Can't wait for it. Taika Waititi always has some great humor and great moments with his characters. This looks no different. It is just a teaser, so it's kind of like a sizzle reel that doesn't really explain all that much. But what it does look like is that Thor is going on a journey to learn a little bit more about how to be a better superhero, because he says he's done superheroing, and maybe that's true. Maybe this whole movie is transitioning from one Thor to the next Thor, transitioning from the character that is played by Chris Hemsworth to the character that is played by Jane Foster. I don't know, but either way, I think it'll be really fun, and Taika Waititi brings a lot of heart to these things. So that's really, really cool.